How we doing, YouTube? I'm Thomas with Tomology. I'm going to take apart my MSI Suprim X4090. I'm going to repad it and repaste it. This is something I like to do about every 6 months. I think that this type of card and water cooling, I think it's really good to do it every 6 months or so. You need at least, clean out your water, but thermal padding and thermal pasting, keeping your video card cool will keep the longevity of your card longer. You won't have to worry about nothing you do this. It's mainly going to be time lapse, but I'll have periodic stops where I talk a little bit and tell you some do's and don'ts and certain things to do whenever you're going through it. It's really not that scary. It's scarier because you know that a card like this costs $2,000 and you're tearing it apart. But without further ado, here we go. All right, so I got the back plate off. Remember, right here, you need to be unscrewing these in an angle. Not only do we put it on at an angle for even, but as you're taking them off, you can actually crack your die or the GPU itself, the chip, if you don't do it evenly, taking the screws out evenly, just like putting it on evenly. Okay, I got all the screws out. So once you get to this point right here, do not just like rip up your card. You got to remember the thermal paste is still holding it down, and a lot of times it has a really nice suction, and you don't want to crack your PCB board. I'm going through all these pads are all going to be replaced. I do use a little extra pads on a couple of things, more than what the manufacturer says to put on. I just want to make sure that everything stays cool on my card. That's just the way I do it. But again, I'm going to go through here. I'm going to clean it all up, and I'm going to clean the nickel. I'm going to clean all the thermal pads. I'm going to clean all the thermal paste and get the acrylic all taken off. All right, I got it apart here. This is the acrylic. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to clean all the nickel out. Make sure you have your O-rings. You keep an eye on all your O-rings in here. Do not put alcohol on this acrylic. You will mess that acrylic up. If you notice inside a little bit, I already have some of the nickel coming apart in there. It just sometimes happens. Also, the Mystic Fog by EK, any type of that thick color liquid will actually tear up your nickel block and leave different particles and tear it up. All right, so I have it all apart right here. Again, don't just yank up on it. You want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on all your O-rings right here. If you notice, I have one right there and the big black one. I actually have another one in the middle on top of the jet plate. So just, again, take it off slowly. Remember, do not put alcohol on this. Me personally, I just use distilled water, and then I use microfiber. So in here is the jet plate. Right here where I'm trying to pull up right now. So I get the jet plate up. That way you can clean all the little fins on the bottom. So that's the waterway. That's where all the water goes in. If you notice the discoloration, that is from using like the EK Mystic Fog. And I also use like an OTEP white at one time. I like the white build. But anyways, just make sure that you're cleaning everything. To clean the nickel, what's really good for nickel is go to the 99-cent store, man. Go get you a soft toothbrush and some some toothpaste. Make sure it doesn't have all the abrasive stuff in it that has the extra little like sand pellets or nothing, because you don't want to scratch this. That's going to be the biggest thing. Like I said, I already have, you know, some of the nickel coming apart, so I don't want anything else to destroy it or scratch it up even more for more nickel to come off of it. Alpha Cool is really nice, but this right here is probably the worst block that I've probably ever gotten from them as far as the nickel plating itself goes. Remember, keep a hold of all your rings. Make sure you don't lose them at all. Those O-rings are very important, so you don't have no water leaking on all your other parts. Keep a hold of it. All right, so now I have the PCB board. I just use toilet paper, Q-tips, and 90% alcohol. So I just put a little bit here in the cap. So basically, the Q-tips, I'm gonna go around the die itself and loosen up anything that's on the edges first. You loosen all that up, and then you're gonna come back in with your toilet paper. I mean, you can use the blue shop type paper towels. That's fine too. Just make sure no matter what you use, don't use no rough paper towels for one. And make sure that you're looking at your board and making sure that no little pieces, whether it's toilet paper, whether it's cotton from the Q-tip, or paper towel. You don't want anything burning underneath it and causing a fire. But 90% alcohol, or I mean, even 70% alcohol, man, you can douse these boards in alcohol and it's not going to hurt them whatsoever. Now, if you try to douse it while it's turned on, of course, you have a potential for it to short something out. But alcohol is non-conductive as is on itself. Make sure like all your memory chips around your die, all the from your thermal pads, make sure there's no residue from there. Make sure everything is clean. You're doing this, you don't want to you put it all back together and have to redo it again. I mean, that's going to be the big thing. But I come in here, I get a little OCD on it, but I come in here and I really clean around the CPU or the GPU, the actual die. Make sure you're not pushing on any of the little electronics in there. Basically, if you don't know what these things are, you got capacitors, you got memory chips, you got different things in resistors, all kinds of stuff inside here. You want to make sure you're not pushing down on the PCB board too much to crack it. You don't want to push too hard one way and you slip and hit a capacitor and it breaks off. You just be careful. It's really not that hard. Again, I'm not even using anti-static bags right here or anything like that. I've been doing this for 24 years. I've been water cooling for 17. So I'm not worried about all that anti-static bags like everybody else is and putting anti-static gloves on, all that crap. I'm not worried about it. I have yet to have a problem. Knock on wood. I mean, I'm going to say something and I might have a problem now, but no, for real. Just use your best judgment on how you do things. See, I'm going in between the memory chips right here. You just make sure it's all clean. That's the big thing, is you got to get it clean in order for the new paste and new pads to stick right. Make sure the correct sizes, and that way there's no issues between gaps, and to make sure that it's flush so they do their job. So you're letting the thermal paste do its job, letting the thermal pad do its job by sucking away the heat. Alright, so I just got back from the sink. I only use distilled water to clean mine. I got it all cleaned up as best as I can. I only use microfiber cloths. Remember, when you're screwing these back together, you see how I start with the middle, and then you start at angles all the way around it until you're done with it. That way you get an even spread on your O-rings that are in there. Make sure that you are not putting alcohol on this acrylic. I can't stress that enough. I think J2 has a thing saying that there's some plastic cleaner or something that you can use like for headlights or something like that. I don't know, or Magellan, whatever. But no, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my thermal pads and prep the whole board ready to be for me to put the block back onto the PCB board right now. Again, this is the best as I can do it. It is what it is at this point of use with it. Make sure you look up for your motherboard. If you don't remember, make sure you look up the manual and see what size thermal pad, because you don't want to do all this and then put a 2 millimeter thick pad where a 1 goes, or put a 1 pad where a 3 goes. That's just something you really don't want to do. Here in a minute, you're gonna also start seeing me cutting with a little X-Acto knife. Do not lay these down and think that I'm cutting on my PCB board. You do not want to cut anything on this PCB board. You want to keep this you want to keep it as, I lift it up a little bit and then I cut. I know how hard I'm going. The best thing to do is cut your little slivers, see if it fits it, and then go from there. But make sure you do not touch this PCB board with any type of razor blade or nothing. You do not want to mess up your PCB board. That is a $2,000 card, and you be screwed, blued, and tattooed, and out 2,000. You have nothing but a paperweight at this point. Thermal pads. I just know where certain things are, and I want to make sure that the heat stays away from me. Now, to thermal paste. I went ahead with J2 cents, and I'm using the Kingpin. Obviously, I've already done this video. I had problems with my audio, but I'm actually gonna probably take it apart. That Kingpin to me is trash. I like my MX4. I think that I'm actually running like 5 degrees warmer with this Kingpin. Sorry, J2 cents, if this ever gets out to you, but there's multiple ways of doing your thermal paste. You can put a little P on it. You can do an X. Normally, I do an X, but again, I also, I'm trying to out here making content, but I also look at other people that make content. And somebody like Jay, who's been around a little bit longer than I have, but around about how long I have, but he's been into the water cool way more and got really, really advanced into it. I tried to listen to some of the advice that they give. So I'm taking the spatula right here and I'm just spreading it out evenly. Just, making me a cake. I get OCD on this crap, trying to make it all perfect. I mean, it's just to fill the air gap in between the water block, the actual heat sink of the water block, and the die is all it is. But like I said, a little overboard on the thermal pads. I know some people might laugh, some people might leave some comments and troll, but again, I'm gonna give it about a week. It's been all done and over for about two days now, so I'll give it a little bit longer to see if anything has to seat more. But I tighten everything up. I've been doing this for years, so I can bust them apart and put them back together. But I don't know. I just might be an MX fanboy. I don't know, but MX4 to me has been the best thing that I've ever used in mine. I've tried Thermal Grizzly, and now I've tried Kingpin for the first time, and I'm not liking some of the results that I see. But anyways, everyone has their own. But no, now I'm going to slap it back together. And whenever you slap it back together, make sure your pads don't fall off, nothing like that. As you see, I just slapped it right down. Remember to go in an angle. You want to do this, barely get the screw in on every single one of them. And then you go from one corner to the next corner. You just do like a quarter to a half a turn, quarter to half a turn, each corner, until it's fully tight. Not only are you compressing the thermal paste evenly, but you're not getting unevenness where you're going to crack your GPU die. All right, that's it. All nice and clean, ready to be put back in my system. Again, it's not that hard. Have patience. Don't get too scared. I mean, you just want to make sure that you're keeping your system refreshed. It's as clean as it's going to get. I have a little overlap right there in my thermal pad. Oh well, just a little bit. Ain't that big of a deal. But again, you can see the thermal pads right there. They were all smushed down what needed to be smushed. I have my extra thermal pads to where I want it. Again, I was sitting there talking about how I should have cut the thermal pads. Should look a little bit better. You want to make sure whenever you're looking at everything, nothing is bowing, that your PCB board is not bowed at all. It does not need to be bowed. On my 3090 Ti, I had an EK water block and it was bowing, so I actually got rid of it, and that was my first alpha cool I got. I sent it back and I wound up getting alpha cool, and I really enjoyed alpha cool. But no, anyways, it's just that simple to clean it out. You need to make sure you're doing your maintenance. You can also do this if you have a regular fan on yours. Just remember, I just pointed to the fan plugs. Make sure you're doing your plugs. You know, be careful with your plugs and don't break them off. But anyways, I'm Thomas with Tomology. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.